Everyone out there tells you to do past papers and do active recall. And yes, they work, but that's only half of the story. Hello, I'm Raylin and I'm a recent A-level graduate, and in this video, I'll share with you guys the exact strategies I use to get straight A's at A-levels, strategies that nobody talks about. So this is a highly requested video from you guys, and I hope that all the tips that I share would be helpful to you guys and could help you in your A-level journey. So you guys have been always asking me about when did I start revisions. I slowly started from the start of year 6, but I really locked in after holidays. Guys, if you're traveling during June holidays, it's honestly okay because I didn't manage to get a lot of revision done, so I was quite guilty as well, but it's okay guys. You just have to be aware of that and then lock in afterwards. I wanted to first share that this journey was never a smooth sailing one. I wasn't those typical straight A students, always got straight A's in every exam. Especially in year 5, I was focusing a lot on non-academic activities like my CCA volleyball and Interact because I was in 2 CCAs. And on top of that, I also spending a lot of time with my friends, hanging out as well as my family, so I didn't really focus a lot on my study. I realized that in year 6, it was the year to lock in. I just wanted to bring across the idea that it's okay that you are not where you need to be now. You can work towards it and trust the process, guys. Okay, so my first advice for all of you guys out there is to balance revision with practice. I'm not sure how you guys usually do it, but for me, in the past, I used to constantly revise and not do a lot of practice. So I realized that that is really bad because practicing is where you get more familiar with how to answer questions and things actually start sticking to your memory. Then I was quite extreme, so I decided not to do any revision and start practicing. We got this topical revision booklet for chemistry and I just went straight into doing the practices without any revision. And I really didn't know how to answer any questions, so I was just wasting a lot of time. In the end, I had so many mistakes, so I was so lazy to literally look through everything, do my corrections because literally almost every question was wrong. I need you guys to balance both. Do a little bit of revision but don't focus too much on it. Maybe give yourself 3 hours to revise quickly on that chapter, especially if you're weak in it. If you're better in that chapter, maybe 1-2 hours, and then jump straight into practice. Along the way, you'll learn and revise the topics as you practice. So especially if you're approaching closer to your exams, literally keep revision to 1 hour and then start grinding those practices, because practice is better than passively reading your notes or doing revision. And when you're doing revision, don't just blindly read your notes, actually understand what's going on. So that's my second tip. Understand instead of just memorize. You guys probably hear that out there, but that's really important. So help it make sense to your brain. So link it to things that you already know of, and then maybe have this flow chart where something happened which caused something else to happen, etc. So just try to make it make sense to your brain so that it helps you understand and memorize it. That is very important so that you can also apply what you know to application questions, because it's very hard to study for application questions. And then my third tip, practice paper. A lot of people will tell you to do more practices, I just mentioned in tip 1, but this is super important because you have to reverse engineer the examiner's mark scheme. After doing practices, not doing it blindly, you really have to go mark it and understand your mistakes, not just marking. Understanding your mistakes is the most crucial thing. I think I've mentioned this before in some of my vlogs. I said how it's so much easier to do papers and so much harder to actually go through your mistakes, because it's such a pain to actually look through all the things you got wrong. It's so easy to do because you're I don't know, you're solving problems, you're answering questions, and it to me it just felt easier. You really have to look through your answers, because that's where I feel that I learn the most. It's not just doing, because you can keep making the same mistakes every time you do different paper. If you really learn from that mistake and the next time you see that question, you know how to answer. So what I mean by reverse engineer the examiner mark scheme is that you understand how the answer technique works from the examiner's mark scheme. You learn the keywords, especially for chemistry and bio. You really need to get the keywords, or not you will not get the marks. You try to understand how they form that answer. So what I like to do is break down the answers into bullet points. So for example, if it's bio, maybe your first point will be definition of this word, and then second point is explanation of something, and then third point might be give an example of this process, something like that. So have pointers for how the technique works, so that helps you to remember when you see that question, you know which technique to use to answer that question, what points you need to get to actually get the full marks. So that's my important tip. If you guys really do not know how to break down the technique, you can always ask your teachers, that's one. Or secondly, if it's bio especially, just memorize the entire answer. Don't even look at your notes, because your notes might not be the best. For me, my notes was very lengthy, all the lecture notes that were given to us. So I really like to use the summary notes for my sciences. For math though, it's very different. You cannot actually memorize because every question will be different. So math, you really have to understand how the answer technique works, which step comes first, which step goes next, and why certain steps are performed. And that really requires you to have a good understanding of the chapter and also the formulas that are involved. Tip number 4, what I really recommend is that you note down every mistake you have and log it down into a Google Docs. So after every practice paper I do, I will always take pictures of the questions that I got wrong. I'll save it into a cheat sheet, I call it. so that before the exam or when I'm doing my revision, I will just revise the entire logbook because that's all the mistake I made. I do not want to revise the things I already know because it's already in me, like I already know it. So what I like to do is I just revise the mistakes I had, and that really helped me to boost my mark. Like when you're doing revision, do not like just passively continuously read your notes, your summary notes, or rewrite your notes. That's really a waste of time. Just revise the brief concepts of each topic. That will be done like briefly along the way, but especially during exam season, you want to be like revising on this mistake logbook that you have, especially after doing like practices, a lot of practices. So a mistake logbook, guys, that's very important. So tip number 5 is more on like organizing your note. Besides the mistake logbook, I also organize my notes on Google Drive. So if you guys are interested in my study routine and like how I organize everything to prepare for my A-levels, I can totally make another video for you guys. Just let me know. And I also like have this Google sheet where I track like practice paper that I've done, how much I got, and like key topics that I am weak in, so that I know which topics I should revise on. Try to implement into your routine so that you know where you're weak at, where you can focus more on, and then you see whether there's like a recurring topic that keeps coming out and you keep getting wrong in your various practice papers, so you know where to tackle things. So like keep track of everything that I need to do, because like RI give a lot of resources, like so freaking many, and there's also like practice paper, prelim papers, TYS, whatever topical revision. So I like to key like every single thing down into this Google sheet so I can track like what I need to get done and when I should get it done by, so that I make sure that low-key everything will be done before my A-level, so that I do not stress out, especially last minute events, to prevent like last minute panicking, because I don't want to put myself through that. So highly recommend you guys to keep track of it. Tip number 7. So what I really like to do to stay focused, so one of my tips will be to interleave your subjects. So I know that in JC there's only like 5 subjects. It was totally different for me because in O-levels there was like 8 to 9 subjects, right? So I could like keep changing every hour or so that I don't feel bored, because I'm a person that like kind of gets bored after a while. So for me in JC it was kind of tough because there was only 5 subjects and every subject is so in-depth. So I low-key had to like change my subjects every few hours so that I don't get bored, and that's how I stay focused and how I could study like much longer. Instead of studying like, for example, math for 6 hours, that's actually freaking long. I wouldn't do that to myself, that's so long. Instead of that, you actually do like maybe math, chem, and bio, so 2 hours each. What I like to do is to like pair up my humanity subjects, which is like econ and GP, with like a more sciencey or math subject. So maybe if I do math on a certain day, I will do like econs, math and econs together, and then on another day I will do like chem and GP, then on another day I'll do like bio and econ, something like that. Every 2 to 3 hours I will switch subjects, so that like a day I focus on 2 subjects, but I keep switching. If I feel like it, I will like bring in another subject as well. So 3 subjects in one day. Just do whatever you're comfortable with. If you really like doing math for 8 hours straight, good for you. I don't think I can do that. Tip number 8. I feel like nobody really talks about this. One like super important thing to do is to consult your teachers. Like just keep disturbing them. I'm sorry teachers, but I'm sure they are more than happy to help you. Like all my teachers were so nice whenever I needed extra help, or like when I do a paper and I don't understand why I got this shit wrong. Like bro, especially GP. Like I disturbed my GP teacher way too much. I feel like, no, he was really nice though. He wasn't like annoyed or anything. He was so ready and more than happy to help me. Every time I needed a consult, he would just reply me and say, sure. Please just keep asking your teachers whenever you are in doubt. Like maximize important resource that you have, which are your teachers. So important, because that really helped me to understand so many more concepts much better and much faster than trying to figure it out myself. So that's how like literally I didn't have tuition except for GP and econ. Okay, now I would like to share some like tips for each subject. It could be more applicable if you're looking for advice on specific subjects. So I took PC and H1 econs and GP. So let me start with GP because that's like literally the hardest subject in my opinion. It was so hard to study for GP. Like what I really utilized is the resources from my school and my tuition. So I had so many resources on like examples, notes, techniques, especially for comprehension. Techniques is key. You just need to understand like the different techniques for the different question types, and you're really safe. Comprehension was like my strongest suit. Saved my ass for my essay because I can't suck at essays. I was like averaging 27 out of 50. Like yeah, it's quite bad. Slowly started figuring out, but at the start it was actually really bad. What I really recommend is memorizing key examples, especially for topics you're interested in. Like low-key, you don't really need to know every single topic in the world. You just need to focus on like the 2 like hot topics that you're interested in. For me, it was media and science and tech. So I was really banking on media, which is like a very popular topic that comes out literally every year if I'm not wrong. And that's what I wrote for my A-level essay as well, which thankfully got me an A. Like I was so surprised because I've never gotten an A for GP before. Like examples not enough, so evaluation is very important. And initially I was very confused about what evaluation means and what nuance is in GP. So consulting my teachers, essay outlines and getting feedback was really something that helped me to really improve very fast. So how to elaborate, how to find better examples, and also like examples that can tweak and like be used for different like topics. It's also very useful. I actually have paper 1 notes on all the techniques to evaluate, to elaborate, an example as well. It's used for both essays and also the AQ comprehension with all the answer techniques. So literally what I used to revise for GP is just that note. So if you're interested, I'm selling my notes, so you can let me know. Econs, it was the second hardest to me. I was low-key slacking in year 5, so it's all on me, guys. Really for econs, it's understanding the concept. So I realized that initially I was so blur, like I didn't understand a lot of the economic concepts. So that is the reason why I've been failing econs. I was failing econs only until like year 6 time practice, I passed econs for the first time. So after understanding the concepts and getting consultation, so I actually started getting better. And after that, I'll just keep doing practices and then read through the answers so that I know like what is needed for the different types of questions, and also what diagram to draw, what economic principles to use, etc. etc. It's honestly quite similar after you do a lot of practices. So definitely for econs, just focus on concepts and then do lots of practice. So I literally went from an E to an A, so it was quite an insane jump. And during prelims, I got a B, and I was so happy because I've never gotten that high for econs before. For bio, it was a slight pain because like I could do like those regurgitation questions, but my essay was low-key kind of messed up. Honestly, I think for essays, just bullshit your way through. Like you can memorize a lot of concepts, but the keywords are the really important ones. So really just bullshit whatever you know about that certain topic or that question. Just keep writing it and give examples or whatever they ask for. And for essay, there's no negative marking, so just write as much as you can. It doesn't matter whether it's not relevant, but it must be right. Because I heard that if it's not right, they might minus mark. For essays, how I revise is I will just plan like roughly what I would write and then read the answer scheme immediately and learn from it. For bio, there's really like no other way you can do well for it besides memorizing and understanding the concept. Don't memorize blindly as well, memorize with understanding, because things is so much easier to remember if they make sense. Like I mentioned previously, I really love using flashcards to like help memorize for bio as well. And I thank my friend so much because he made like flashcards with all the concepts and definitions and he shared it with the class. Low-key, I tried like spaced repetition, but I always end up forgetting, so I just do my flashcards whenever I remember. Try to do as much as possible, especially when I take public transport and have nothing to do. So I'll just listen to music while doing flashcards. I guess it's a good use of time. And for math, it used to be my best subject in secondary school, and then when I came to JC, I had like a huge shock because like I didn't know what I was doing. Like I got A for my first ever test, but that's like WA, you know. So I was like, yay, I still had math in me. And then slowly I did promos and I literally failed promos. I don't know what happened, but when I was taking a 3-hour long ass exam, my brain like couldn't think straight. So I was conceptually quite weak at first, and after doing a lot of revision and consulting my teachers, I eventually understood the concepts better and also on the formulas. I also made myself like summary sheets of each chapter so that I understand what key things and formulas and concepts to know for each chapter. So that is literally what I revised before my exam and nothing else. Also my mistake logbook though. So for math, literally what you can do is understand concepts and formulas and spam practice. Like literally spam. Just keep doing and learn from your mistakes. See how the answer technique solves it, and then you can learn from it and then do more questions. The more questions you do, the more you realize that some questions are so similar. Like understand how they are solved, and then very soon you get the hang of it. And even if they're like tricky questions, there definitely will be some questions that you can't solve no matter how hard you think. Luckily that didn't happen in A levels actually. Even so, 70% is the A grade, especially for internal exams, so you should be fine, guys. You can get an A even with tricky questions. The chemistry is my absolute favorite subject because I love my teacher so much. He was so good at teaching. He provided us with summary maps. He made concepts so much easier to understand with his explanation. So I really enjoyed learning and studying chem. Chem is literally all about concepts. So you just have to understand like the different concepts that are in each topic. With that, you should be able to answer most of the questions. And what I want to emphasize on is organic chem. So really start memorizing from the very beginning, because if you don't, things will pile up and every chapter leads to the next. So if you don't understand one chapter, the next chapter will be a big problem. So this was the tip that my teacher gave us as well, to really start memorizing from the start. So create flashcards for yourself if it's useful. I use flashcards. My school created flashcards as well. The chemistry department was so good. So organic chem was like low-key my favorite. I really like organic chem compared to inorganic chem. My school gave us a lot of resources like topical revision, lots of practice paper, past year paper, blah blah blah. So just keep doing practices and very soon you get a hang of it as well. And very important, like I mentioned already, clarify your mistakes, understand your mistake, memorize the keywords, and then have the mistake logbook so you revise it before your exams. So I won't delve too deep into like the specifics for each subject, but this is like the brief advice that I have for each subject. And low-key, JC was kind of long ago, or like, yeah, it was 8 months ago. Tomorrow, I'm literally starting uni. Got scared, but like I'm trying my hardest to recall these tips for you guys, so I hope it helps. Finally, I want to share some exam techniques So number one, if you get stuck, literally just move on. Don't even spend a single minute thinking anymore, because like I made this mistake in math. I saw this question that was really tough. Okay, I did move on because I knew that I shouldn't waste time on it, but after I finished the paper, I literally went to that question and stared at it for like the next 30 minutes until the exam stopped, and I realized that I should have spent that 30 minutes to check my other questions to make sure they were right, instead of focusing on this question that I actually eventually got wrong. So like I didn't know how to solve it, and I just randomly wrote some shit which was wrong as well. So like don't waste your time, guys. Focus on the other questions that you know you can get right, and make sure that you check through everything so that you know things are right. Also, if you ever don't know anything, just write something down. Like really just write something, because something is better than nothing, and you never know, maybe that is like the keyword they're looking for or the formula. You might even get 1 mark, you know. Second tip is train yourself to write fast. Nobody really cares about how your handwriting looks as long as it's legible. Like my handwriting literally sucks. Low-key handwriting doesn't matter, finishing the paper matters more. So especially for GP essays, everybody, like a lot of my friends cannot finish writing the essay or like comprehension, like all the summary and AQ. So literally writing fast is better than like writing nicely, because the examiner might thank you for writing nicely, but owe it to yourself to actually finish the paper. Okay, the third tip I have is to make sure that you know the paper fully, so like the different sections, and allocate each section at a certain time so that you make sure that you finish with like spare time so that you can have time to check your work. I think this is really important, especially for GP comprehension. So usually the AQ would take like 20 minutes, and then your summary should take like maybe 15 minutes, and then the rest would be like for your short answer questions. That's about it for all my tips. I just want to wish you guys all the best for any exams you're taking, and especially A-level since you're watching this video. A-level is really a marathon. You don't have to be good from the very beginning. You just have to be consistent and lock in, like especially in year 6. I understand that year 6 you still have a lot of energy in SYF. Like I was slacking for the first half of year 6 as well, but after June holidays I was totally locked in. I planned out things I need to get done and then actually like do it. And I also want to emphasize that like amount of time you spend studying doesn't always equate to like the better results that you might get. Studying smart is very important. So I hope all these tips and tricks help you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and feel free to comment down below if you have any other things you'd like to ask me or for me to make a video on it. Comment down the subject that you find the hardest, and comment down like some exam tricks and techniques that you have that you think like nobody really talks about and it really helps you, so that we can help everyone out there. So thank you so much for watching. Bye guys!